If you have found this video, then you have come to the dark side of Football Manager. This video is going to give you all of the cheats that you need to succeed in Football Manager, whether it would be safe scumming, using the editor, adding a new manager, and so much more. These are the most popular cheats that PC players use in Football Manager. We are going to be talking about the use of the in-game editor, one of the most popular cheats that you can download for free or pay £6 for on Steam to get. Either way, using it is considered one of the biggest cheats you can do in Football Manager. And to have that in your save, all you need to do is untick the prevent use of in-game editor as a preset in the game. So you'll be able to start your save and use the editor to get players, to get staff, to get everything. And I'm going to show you some of the things that most PC players do when they're using the editor. For the purposes of this video, I am going to be using Arsenal Football Club as the example because, as you know, the chant goes, same old Arsenal, always cheating. So we applied that into the game, into Football Manager. You'll know that if the editor's in use, you'll see this little pencil here. So any saves that you see online that people are doing or any achievements you see, if you see this little pencil, you know there could be the chance that they could be using cheat. Now, the in-game editor allows you to do so much stuff. You can move to another club. You can move players to your club. So, for example, we can go to Kylian Mbappe if we wanted to and make him go to Arsenal Football Club. So, you click on Kylian. We can move to my club. No transfer fee, none of that stuff. We can just go bang. And Kylian Mbappe comes straight to Arsenal. So, you could build out an unbelievable team in the first transfer window just by using this in-game editor. And this is what you'll see a lot of people do. When they move to club, they'll make the transfer fee look a little bit realistic. So they might say like, I don't know, 50 million or something like that, just to get those players in and through the door. And they'll end up with a god squad. They'll end up with, you'll see they'll have Vinicius Jr., they'll have Kylian Mbappe, they'll have Erling Haaland, but they will use a club where it might be a little bit realistic. Others who don't mind getting caught out will use a small club and say they've got all of these elite level superstars. But there's also so much more that you can do with this as well. If we click on the Arsenal team here and we click on the Arsenal club information, we can do so much more. We can edit the club details. We can put up the reputation, so we can make our club more reputable, so more players will come to the football club. We can make the morale better. We can build up the club attendance, the maximum club attendance. We can even change all of the colors if you wanted to, but changing colors doesn't affect how you play in the game. We can give them the greatest transfer bank budget you've ever seen, current scouting budgets you can increase. And this is what you will see players do in the game. They'll give themselves £1 billion worth of transfer money. And if they don't want to do the move to club, they'll then do it from here. And they'll make their club the richest club in the world. They'll also edit the facilities as well. So you can, as you can see, you can change the surface of the grass. You can set the stadium condition. You can make your stadium brand new. You can upgrade all of your training facilities, youth facilities, junior coaching, corporate facilities. So you could get an immense amount of new gens coming through the academy. Now, you see people, they do this sometimes in smaller nations as tests. So they'll give a Gibraltar team £1 billion and go through a test. That's not cheating, but if you're that Gibraltar team and you're managing them and you give yourself, £1 billion in the Gibraltar's league, and then you go and give yourself all these great new gens, that would also be considered as cheating. What other people do as well, you'll see within the editor, they'll go to their next scheduled game. So for Arsenal, we'll see the first scheduled game of the season is Manchester City. And what they'll do is they'll edit Manchester City and they will remove all the staff. They'll remove the supporter objectives. They'll remove Pep Guardiola. They'll move him to another club so they'll have no manager to play against, so the team won't be familiar. That's one of the ones that I've seen very often, and you'll see Pep Guardiola at like Ludogorets or somewhere like that, just as an example. And these are the things people do with the editor. It's absolutely cracked all the things you can do. There's so much more you can do with it as well. But they are the most common cheats that I see whilst using the editor in Football Manager. And they also do it to make sure that their unbeaten runs are still unbeaten. So what they'll do is you can even downgrade the player's ability. So you'll go to, if we go back to Manchester City here, let's go to Erling Haaland. And they'll say, okay, we're coming up against Erling Haaland. What can we do? We can remove all the injuries as well. They'll do that from their players. They can freeze the attributes. They might even terminate his contracts, but they might also do other things to Erling Haaland to make him not a very good player. So if we click on the start editing, they'll start editing out his finishing. They might say, okay, Erling Haaland's supposed to be good. I'm going to give Erling Haaland 1 finishing for when he plays against us in the next game. So he's not going to finish. He ain't going to be able to hit a barn door. And this is what you'll see with players they're doing. They'll just go through the league, make all the players like this, and make it so super easy for them that their achievements are unmatched in that division. They'll do it before big games, before finals, all of that sort of stuff. And if you've done this, let me know in the comments below. And if you've done something a little bit different, I also want to know as well. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel, because if just a few of you watching this video do subscribe to this channel, it will make a huge difference for me, and I'll be able to give away more copies of Football Manager 2024 and 2025 and into the future as well. What do you think of using the editor? Have you used it? What do you use it for? What is your favorite use of the editor in game? Adding a new manager is an oldie, but an absolute goldie. And what happens with this is people that don't have the use of the prior cheat, the editor, they don't want to download it, they don't want to take the chance of being caught out in that way. What they'll do is they'll go to FM, and when they've got a new game coming up, they'll go add new manager, and they'll just add any manager, use this profile, and then they'll see the next team that they're playing, Manchester City, for instance. They'll just add themselves in as Manchester City, as we're doing here. And there's a few ways that they use this cheat, and it was the most popular cheat back in the day on games like Championship Manager. And what they'll do is they'll add themselves as a big team with a big budget. This is particularly useful for when you're playing as a lower league side and you need some money and some finances to rebuild your squad, but you don't quite have players to sell. So what they'll do is, I'm just going to use Wrexham as an example of a club of players to buy players from. I know Wrexham have a lot of money, but it is just for example purposes. So they'll come to here, they're Manchester City, they've got the transfer budget, they'll want to buy out a player that doesn't really play very often, who's not very good. So I'm just going to pick a player right off the bat here. I'm going to pick Jacob Mendy, who's transfer listed, a Gambian player. And what they'll do is, instead of paying the 35k to what he's worth, they'll put 7.5 million, or they'll put 2.5 million, or it might even be 500k. Something that the board is going to allow them to sign, because there has been a little bit nerfed in recent years. The board of the buying club will not allow you to overpay too much for that sort of player. You will have to convince them to do so. So what they do is they find the right balance of that transfer fee. So 500k to a club like Manchester City isn't really going to alert the board for you to signing those type of players. It would do if you were a smaller club, for instance, and you were trying to do it. So if you were Birmingham, or I know a team in the Championship like Swansea, and you were overpaying for these type of players, it may alert them, because money there is quite tight. But when money is no object at teams like Manchester City, your PSGs, your Madrids, those type of teams there, even if you've got a mod for the Saudi League and you're doing that and you're using this kind of method, it's not going to alert them, because you've got so much money in the bank. They just don't really care who you buy and how much money you pay for players. As long as it's not 200, 300 millions and it's not going to break the bank, they really don't care. And this is a great way of getting free funds in for you in terms of transfers. Now, another way people use this, add this manager, is what they'll do is they'll add, and this goes back to the Manchester City example here, they'll add the manager just before the game. And as you saw at the start of this video, we are managing Arsenal one as our main manager. And obviously in the Community Shield, what will happen is that they'll play this game against each other, but they'll end up putting Erling Haaland in goal, or they'll play a reserve team to make sure that they win the game and gain that trophy and get the result that they wanted from the outcome. They knew they probably couldn't beat Manchester City in a fair game and in a fair fight. So they thought, you know what, we're going to add the manager, I'm going to get this over and done with quickly, and then I'm going to move on to the next. And that means they could do it various times throughout the season. It won't be one of the obvious things unless you're digging deep into the save and reviewing a save and looking at the managerial history changes. It won't be something you'll notice automatically, because these emails, when they've appointed the manager, after a while you get so many emails in your inbox, they just go away. So for instance, you're not going to find out fairly quickly from a save, but what you will see is a lot of success and a lot of unprecedented success in those saves as well. Let me know if you've ever used this add new manager cheat, and if you used to use it back in the day. If you're still using it, let me know. I want to know the best example you've had when you've done this. Save scumming is the ultimate cheat in Football Manager. And if you don't know what save scumming is, what planet have you been living on in a Football Manager's terms? So all you have to do is, before the game, you just click the FM logo, save game, save it exactly before the game, play the game, And if you don't like the outcome of the game, all you have to do is just load the game back up, load it, and then you've lost, you reload, and you do that as many times as you want to get the desired result that you need. Now, a lot of people do this. They do it in big games, like they'll do it in cup finals, they'll do it in games if it's close to relegation, if they're close to winning the title, if it's games that they just don't want to lose, like against a team they hate in real life. There's so many reasons why people save scum. It's unbelievable. I mean, the list is just literally endless. There's so many reasons. Some people do it when they've, you know, for instance, they might save it before the game. They win the game, but their player gets injured, so they reload it, so they can't have that player out injured. They might do it where they might save it and reload it at some point because a minimum release fee has been done in a player's contract. They didn't want to lose that football player from their football club. There's so many reasons. The reasons are endless, but this is the ultimate cheat because you can sat here and do this as much as you want. So, for instance, a season could take you, you know, on average, say 8 hours to complete because you go through all that. But this could take you 4 days because you don't want to lose that game against Tottenham if you're an Arsenal manager. You're just not losing against Spurs. It's not happening. Or if you're the Spurs manager, you don't want to lose against Arsenal. Or you've got to a Champions League final and you're not losing it. Like, you've decided I'm winning Champions League. That's it. It's done. Another reason could be any reason you want. It could be that you just really want to beat that club, or you need a big goal difference to stay up, or you need whatever it might be. Save scumming is the answer to your prayers. It will absolutely save you at all points in your save. It is the ultimate football manager cheat. I won't have it any other way. So many people use this. You'll be able to notice it. They have unbelievable success, and it's just never explained, and it's never shown how many times they actually save the game, which you can find in here. So if you go to here, you click on the FM logo, and you can see some of the stuff, the game status, and you'll see how many database changes people have had, all that kind of stuff. It'll all be in here at some point, how long the game's been going on for, all of that good stuff. Let me know if you've used save scumming before. I think every single Football Manager player throughout their journey has used it once or twice. It doesn't matter if you're a creator or if you're new to the game. I'm sure everyone has used this cheat. And if you don't already, please do subscribe to the channel. Just a few of you watching could actually change the trajectory of my channel from 2K subscribers all the way up to 3K. It would be absolutely insane. And if not, I'll see you on another video. But before I go, let me know your favorite cheat in the comments below.